Hey guys, MultiClassicGamer here. Welcome back to more SpongeBob SquarePants Revenge of the Flying Dutchman on PlayStation 2. In the last episode, we plugged up all the holes in Sandy's Treedome. And next thing we're going to do is we're going to explore the rest of Sandy's Treedome as much as we possibly can this time. And then we're going to go meet Mr. Krabs in downtown Bikini Bottom to see what he's up to. Because he said he's going to set things up, but he didn't say exactly what we're doing there yet, quite yet. He just said something about moving the Krusty Krab to people's homes, so that sounds interesting. I guess we're going to need to get a hammer for that, as SpongeBob said, or suggested, or whatever. So after you plug up all the holes and talk to Sandy, these windows are going to start going up and down in a way that allows you. They basically make platforms so we can make your way across Sandy's Treedome. Now, the fact that these windows open and close by themselves is actually kind of something that kind of reminds me of a subject I want to talk about. This game is considered kind of creepy, basically, because that ties into like one of its main flaws, and that's the fact that it's okay, let me explain. This was the very first 3D SpongeBob game. This was our first chance to explore Bikini Bottom in a 3D setting as SpongeBob. Maybe there was a Nickelodeon Flash game or something around the time that did that before this, but for the most part, well, I guess actually Employee Month was kind of 3D, but it was just a point-and-click adventure game. This is the first 3D platforming SpongeBob game, and I think one of the main problems with that is that they made the worlds of this game too big. Because the worlds of this game are so big, they feel empty, I suppose. Like, there's not as much to do in them as people would want, and therefore they feel open and empty. And because of how open and empty they feel, the game has like this kind of creepy atmosphere, I suppose. Like, I can understand that too, actually. But that's just the thing. That's one of the things that caused Behavior Interactive, the developers of this game, to go under. Actually, this was actually the very last game they made. The only other game they made that I'm aware of is a video game based off the Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius movie that came a year before this. So yeah, it was the game. Those game devs did not last long, and it's also worth knowing that this was the first SpongeBob game on the PlayStation 2, the first SpongeBob game on the GameCube. Although we didn't get a SpongeBob game on the original Xbox until Battle for Bikini Bottom, which came a year later. But even then, the Xbox was actually out at the time of this game coming out, because the Xbox came out. It launched in North America the exact same day as the GameCube launched in North America. So, anyways, we have the downtown bus stop right here.
A bus stop! I wish I could take a long ride on the bus. Just think of all the amazing places outside Bikini Bottom and all the fun things I could do.
Your wish can easily come true. All you need is the right ticket for this bus stop. When you have the correct ticket, jump onto the bench and the bus will stop for you.
So basically all you gotta do is just jump onto the bench and you'll warp to that world. There's no bus that appears or anything like that, but still.
So this is downtown Bikini Bottom. How will I ever find Mr. Krabs in such a huge place where the streets never end and the buildings just go on and on and on?
Yoo-hoo! SpongeBob, over here!
So this is downtown Bikini Bottom. This world right here is another example of why people say that this game has a very creepy tone to it. We have the creepy narrator, but also downtown Bikini Bottom takes place only at night. And it seems the only inhabitants of downtown Bikini Bottom are these thugs. But to be fair, thugs are generally out at night, and not a lot of regular people are out at night. So, to a certain extent, it kind of makes sense. But still, you don't see a lot of like regular fish inhabitants throughout this game. So yeah, that's just one of the reasons why it feels creepy, and also why it's very appropriate that I'm taking on this game in October of all months. And that's pure coincidence, by the way. I didn't intend to take this game, revisit this game in October just because it's the month of Halloween, and this game does have a kind of a creepy vibe to it. We should probably switch to our jellyfishing costume, our jellyfishing net. Now, because this game has such a limited soundtrack, a lot of times the music doesn't even fit the setting the setting that you're in. So a lot of times it's best to just not have music at all. In fact, actually, growing up, it was pretty common for me to actually play through this entire game without the music on. Because as a kid, I just didn't care for the music, and the fact that I was looping constantly with the jellyfishing costume just made it worse, and made even more so the fact that, it just made more sense to me just not have the music at all growing up. So basically, I'm used to playing this game without the music at all. So that's why it feels more natural for me right now doing this Let's Play without the music on as I record the game, and then adding the music in later on in editing. Now, to this day, Downtown Bikini Bum is the only world that I have trouble 100%ing, especially in the doubloons. I've always missed like one or two doubloons or one jellyfish or something like that. It's always one or the other. I don't know what it is, and I always like go through the world very thoroughly, but I still can't seem to find like all the jellyfish or the whatchamacallits, the world doubloons. Like I'm always missing one. I can't seem to find where it is. Now, Downtown Bikini Bottom, along with all the other worlds in the game, is divided into 3 areas. We have the downtown area that we're in right now. There is a construction site nearby, and behind the construction site is the high-rise apartments. Both of these are areas specific only to this game. They never appear in the actual show. And that's one thing I love about these SpongeBob games, is whenever they invent new worlds to expand the SpongeBob universe, even if these worlds don't end up appearing in the actual show. Now, as far as the combat goes with these thugs, for instance, once again, you're better off just wearing the fishing net costume. And it's not so much the fact that your karate... Well, actually it is. Here's the thing. Your karate chop, although it's a good attack when you're... when you don't have your jellyfish net, it's too short ranged, I guess, for these enemies. If you don't have your fishing gear costume on, I recommend just belly slamming these enemies, because otherwise it's really difficult to get a hit on these guys without getting hit first yourself. Because by the time you walk close enough to them that you can actually get a hit in with the karate chop, they're already going to hit you first. So you're better off wearing a jellyfishing net, or wearing the fishing gear costume, because the fishing gear costume is more long range. You can actually hit these guys from further away, from a safe distance. So they can't... Oh, actually, never mind. They can still get you, like, when you're far away. But still, you can hit... It seems like the fishing gear costume has less of a delay to it than the karate chops, and therefore, you're able to get a hit in before they hit you. So yeah, basically, like I said, in this level, we're going to be doing something with Mr. Krabs to kind of guide us through the world. And in fact, actually, you can't access the other areas of Downtown Bikini Bottom until you do this mission with Mr. Krabs. You have to complete that in order to unlock the other areas of Downtown Bikini Bottom. In the meantime, we're confined just to this downtown area. So, yeah, that's just another reason on top of the other millions of reasons why you're always going to be wearing the fishing gear costume. It's better for combat, you need to collect the jellyfish, you need it for those hooks. So, there's just so many things you need the jellyfish costume for that you can't do with the other costumes. The other costumes, like, you feel powerless, like, whenever you wear them, and you're only wearing them just to do, like, one specific mission. And yet you also want to wear them to hear different music. But, I'm still not, whatever. I was gonna say I'm still not entirely sure, like, how I'm gonna do the music, but again, I'll worry about that in editing. I shouldn't be talking about another commentary, because that's not what this is about. I want to talk about the game, okay? The game. But, I think well, what else is there to go over, basically? We're just going around collecting these doubloons still. Now, these back alleys are often where people miss the doubloons, so you always want to check these back alleys. Of course, they're the most dangerous areas to be in a downtown area, but fortunately with our fishing gear costume and our net, our trusty net, that's all we need to protect ourselves, right? Okay, so yeah, in the PS2 version there are sound effects that you can't hear in the GameCube version. For instance, when you first load up the game and you're on that screen, like, which is the main menu, as you saw, we were just standing inside the kitchen of the Krusty Krab, and that was our main menu of the game, and there were panels on the floor which were the options for the main menu. You can actually hear the flames under the Krabby Patties as you're cooking them. That's just the first difference you'll notice with the PS2 version, aside from the loading screen. So on the PS2 version, there's an extra loading screen. There's like 2 loading screens that play basically at once. And the first one is not present in the GameCube version. It's just the bubbles, basically. So, but the SpongeBob holding the hourglass thing, that's not in the GameCube version. So that's another major difference that I noticed. But other than that, I mean, like, I will admit that even now, after a full playthrough of this game, I still get nervous whenever I do a loading screen, because I'm still, you know, I still hear from people about that loading glitch, and I still worry that it could, at some point, just randomly start happening on my copy. So, yeah, I guess some people might disagree with me on preferring the PS2 version, but that's just my own experience, okay? I'm not knocking anyone for preferring the GameCube version. And this is coming from a Nintendo fan, okay? Just letting you know. It's like someone who grew up with specifically Nintendo consoles growing up. So make it that what you will. So we're almost done collecting all the jellyfish and doubloons in this area. And then we'll start doing the mission with Mr. Krabs to guide us along through the rest of the downtown Bikini Bottom areas. But I think that's pretty much it for now. It should be. Alright, so let's see what Mr. Krabs wants from us. Shall we?
Glad you finally made it, lad. Between you and me and this here cart, there's no stopping us now.
Just what exactly is your plan, Mr. Krabs?
It's just like you said, SpongeBob. If no one wants to leave home, then we bring the Krusty Krab to them. I'm talking about food delivery. I'll put out a bag filled with patties whenever enough orders come in. You need to grab the bag and get to all our customers before it's too late. There might even be some tip money in it for you.
This sounds like fun, Mr. Krabs.
Great! This delivery is to a single location, 17 Seashell Street. Go to Seashell Street, then look for the 17 on the building, then drop off the food at the door. Our food is very popular, so watch out for rough characters who might try to take it from you. Now go to it, lad!
Alright, so here in downtown Bikini Bottom, we are going to be delivering Krabby Patties. Now, that was something we did in the Game Boy Advance version, so that's something that they kind of carried over. However, we're doing them entirely, like these deliveries, we're doing them entirely in downtown Bikini Bottom, whereas in the Game Boy Advance version, we went to exotic areas to do it. We went to the Outback, we went to like a snow area, and we went to Rock Bottom of all places. So that's one of the things that's kind of similar, but also very different from the Game Boy Advance version. And there's 17 Seashell Street, right? Seashell Street. And that's our only single delivery we have to do in this area. Although we will be coming back here actually for more deliveries. But for now, once we get to Mr. Krabs, this will open up the construction site actually, allowing us to explore more of downtown Bikini Bottom. But yeah, downtown Bikini Bottom is actually the second major world of the game that you actually explore beyond Bikini Bottom itself. Well, you know, just for the heck of it, I'll call Bikini Bottom World 1. We'll call this World 2. How about that?
I'm ready for the next delivery, Mr. Krabs.
This delivery is a little trickier. There's a building under construction nearby, and it's full of very hungry workers.
Alright, let's head on over to the construction site. So construction site is through here, past these caution stands. Let's call them caution stands. Alright, so here we are in the construction site. Now I know you guys probably wanted to have longer episodes, and the first 2 episodes of this LP were at least 20 minutes long. Basically what my plan is for this LP is to have 20 minutes per episode. This game is a lot shorter too, so we'll be finishing this in probably about 17 or less episodes. The original LP was completed about 18 episodes, so somewhere around there. Okay, so this is one thing I swear they changed in the PS2 version. The placement of this green jellyfish. It's in a very inconvenient spot for catching, and it's it's actually extra difficult to catch this one because he's already slightly above the ground. And green jellyfish, if you don't sneak up on them, they will actually fly vertically to get away from you. So that green jellyfish is actually extra difficult to get to. But more on that, we have Patrick.
Halt, villain! Don't try to get away, for I am Barnacle Boy, Super Sidekick.
You really had me going there for a minute, Patrick. Where did you get that great costume?
I mailed in 450 kelp bar wrappers and got both official costumes from the Mermaid Man show.
Oh, you got both costumes? Oh, can I be Mermaid Man? Oh, please, oh, please, oh, please.
Oh, gee, I'd really like to, but I've been so hungry since I ran out of kelp bars. If only I had something yummy to eat.
Alright, so Mr. Patrick wants something yummy to eat. We'll keep that in mind for later. Oh yeah, another thing, they also changed the texture of these, this flotation thing here. Because it was textured differently in the GameCube version as well. I don't know why, I don't know how that prevented a loading glitch, but yeah. That's the thing though, is like, since the GameCube version came a month after the PS2 version, I have to assume that the extra time was just so that they could fix the loading glitch. Because it was not present in the GameCube version, that's the preferred way to play this game due to that reason. But yeah, as I was saying, most episodes of this Let's Play will be at least 20 minutes long, maybe longer. But I try for just 20 minutes because again, I don't want to take episodes take too long to export. And keep in mind, you're also getting Luigi's Mansion almost every night of this month too, on top of these episodes as well. So make of that what you will. So anyways, these rocks surrounding this pressure plate, you're going to want to pick them up and throw them onto the pressure plate. And that will allow you to use these supports as platforms to get up to a higher position of the construction site. Now, there's a lot of doubloons up in the upper area of this construction site, so you really want to go up here, and also want to get that flare tile. You can also jump on this wrecking ball here, get 3 doubloons, and also, yeah, there's a lot of doubloons up here in the upper area of this construction site. I know there's other stuff I wanted to talk about in playing this game, but I just keep on forgetting them, actually. Let's see. I do know that for Battle for Bikini Bottom, we'll be doing the Xbox version, but there will be other PS2 SpongeBob games we'll be covering later down in the marathon, such as Atlantis SquarePants for one, and also the Creature from the Krusty Krab. I know those we'll be doing the PS2 versions of those games. Now, this vantage point right here, to me, is the best to get this green jellyfish. Let's give it a try. Crap. There we go. You have to, like, it's kind of weird. You have to be, like, far enough away that the green jellyfish will come back down. And then I guess as the green jellyfish is coming back down, then you can jump up and get it. So, I don't know. It's kind of weird how you get that green jellyfish, but that's how you do it. But again, this is another example of, like, a big world with so little in it. You know, like, there's a lot of doubloons everywhere, yeah, but there's just 2 foremen and those 2 construction workers. That's literally it. That's the only 2 things you have, or the only people or characters you have in this area. So, yeah. Yeah, I guess the lighting's different. And yeah, another thing about the PS2 version that's very different is the lighting. I actually love the lighting in the PS2 version compared to the GameCube version. Also, in the PS2 version, for whatever reason, this bridge bounces, actually. Just randomly bounces when you stand on it. Like, just simply stand on it. So that's kind of odd. But one thing to note is that, well, it's not noticeable here because it's dark out. It's always dark when you're in downtown Bikini Bottom. But in actual Bikini Bottom, you'll notice that the background is lighter in the PS2 version and darker in the GameCube version. I don't know why that is, but I like the PS2 version having the lighter background too. So that's just one of the random examples I like to share about, you know, why I appreciate the PS2 version. Or I guess I could just always say I just like both versions equally because they both have their pros and cons. The GameCube version is, while it doesn't necessarily look or perform as good as the PS2 version, you can at least be confident when you purchase the GameCube version that it's not going to have a loading glitch that prevent you from progressing. So, in that regard, I guess you could respect the GameCube version. But anyways, oh, actually, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and end things off here. So, next time on Revenge of the Flying Dutchman PS2, we're gonna finish collecting doubloons here, and we're going to finish the deliveries with Mr. Krabs here in downtown Bikini Bottom. And we'll go from there. See you guys then. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye. Hey guys, thanks for watching this episode of Revenge of the Flying Dutchman. I'd like to give a special shout out to currently my only patron, JC the Texas Scratcher. If you like what you see, consider support me on Patreon and subscribing and clicking the like button for notifications. See you guys in the next video tomorrow. Bye.